in 5.56 versus 6 arc. The 550 3.6 mils. So 12.4, dipstick at 1,000 here. Let's do a real quick rapid fire here. I put it up there in big red text so you can't miss it, even if you're a Reddit person that made their way to YouTube. All right, welcome back. I'm sorry you guys have had to put up with Alan for so many videos. I've been busy. I wanted to do a video on the 6 arc. I've been waiting for a while for it to kind of go through a lot of hands, get guys' input on it. I wanted to shoot mine quite a bit before I did it, but I mainly wanted to show the difference in capability versus a 5.56. So I ordered a 6 arc barrel from Noveski, one of their DDF barrels. This one is an 18-inch, just to match the previous length. I'm trying to figure out a situation for the Allen can, maybe to work on this, but for now I just have a Surefire 7.62 Ti on it. It's just an extra one I had laying around. I figure 30 cal and being, you know, based on an RC2 style, it would be a little bit better for the gas that everybody said the 6 arc is so bad for. The biggest thing the 6 arc does for your long range capability and energy is the high BC of the 6 mil bullets. The main reason I wanted to switch to the 6 arc or try the 6 arc out was the cost of the current match ammo that's available for it. I think right now it's about $1.30 a round or so, and the performance you get out of it. I've determined, just like your Uncle Ricky loves the 270 or 30-06 and the 30 cal bullet can do no wrong, that the 6 mil is the ultimate do everything bullet. I know a lot of guys are gonna say it's too small, but for North America, what you need to do with it, I just think it has such a wide range of use for people, all the way from, you know, 3,700 feet per second with the 70 grain Blitz Kings for coyotes in my AI, to my match load with 109s in my Dasher. You can do a short barrel. I mean, you still get really good performance out of it. And then you have the 6 arc, the kind of gas gun family of 6 mil stuff. I just think that that bullet, the BC capability of that bullet, or that sectional density, gives you a ton of performance for the amount of recoil you have, the range of use, and the long range performance considering all that stuff. Obviously you can get a super heavy 6.5 or a super heavy 7 mil that's gonna outperform it, but then you do have to deal with that recoil. The nice thing about the 6 arc is purely you slap it in a 5.56 gun and go. I ordered this barrel and frankly I couldn't wait to get a new receiver set and stuff for it. So I took this apart and just put it in here. I wanted to run it for the time being, and I'm just not sure where the 5.56 barrel is gonna go in this now. So it's the same length barrel as before with 5.56. This with my hand loads goes 2730 with the 77 grain Sierra Match Kings with my hand loads, or the Black Hills stuff is about the same speed, 2730, 2750. With the 6 arc barrel in here with the Hornady factory match ELDMs, the 108s, I'm getting 2550 average out of this. It's a little wider extreme spread than what my hand loads are, obviously, but that's gonna be the next part of this 6 arc series. I was a little worried about the speed with those bullets, just because I knew going compared to a full length bolt gun barrel, that short length barrel, what that was gonna do to the speed, but the BC of those bullets just carries the speed and the energy out so much farther than the 77s that the downrange performance that you get out of it is insane. I'm gonna get the trigger cam on here today so you guys can see that. The thermal's just on here for cool points right now. So Derek from Long Range Precision Shooters channel is going to bring his 18-inch M16A4 that he thinks is a Mark 12 out here. And we're gonna compare that, and we're gonna show that on target so you can see how much harder this hits. The biggest thing with that is that if you miss or if you hit, you get so much more feedback. A 5.56 bullet at 5, 6, 7, 800 yards, if you remember the first video I did on this showing that out to 1,000, once we got to about 700, 800 yards, there just wasn't much impact energy on plate. And the 6 arc just it feels like it's double or triple that whenever you hit downrange. So that compared to the 5.56, the 6 arc just doesn't add enough recoil to make the 5.56 beneficial in any way other than a shared ammo source. So we're gonna show that today. I'm gonna get the zeroed with the trigger cam and then shoot some groups with factory ammo. It's all factory ammo today. I don't have any hand load stuff yet. I have a ton of bullets, ton of powders and stuff I wanna play with. We'll dive down that rabbit hole after this. Zero the 6 arc here in the trigger cam. God, what was the top left dot?
Just now, just me throwing some 108s.
God damn. Oh, there's 2 flyers, but the rest of it's a knot hole. It's gotta be missing. No fucking way. Dude, it's just so insane how good it is. There's one more. Let's shoot the steel. God damn, this thing's nasty. Okay, so first up, this is a M16A4 with an 18-inch barrel. My boy D-Dunk's setup. What I wanted to show, though, he brought it out so that we could show the difference between the same length barrel in 5.56 versus 6 arc. The biggest thing with 6 arc is the energy on plate that you still get from a small frame AR and the impact energy downrange. So when it misses off the side of the target, the splash that you get is way bigger and you're not adding much recoil. So we're gonna run the trigger cams also, so you'll be able to see it as I'm shooting it, and then we're gonna pop onto a barricade and just shoot, you know, probably one range just so you can see from a non-prone position how it looks. So we're gonna start with the Mark 12. We're gonna go 550, 650, 800, and 1,000, and you'll be able to see the difference of how these look on plate and how much wind I end up having to hold to do so. 550, we are 3.6 mils of elevation. So the other big difference is the high BC bullet of that 6 mil cuts down on wind so much. You'll see that as we go out. We don't have a ton here today effectively, but I have it programmed in my Kestrel to show what a 10-mile-an-hour wind is. So a 10-mile-an-hour wind, I would be 1.7 mils at this range. 550, 3.6 mils. Okay, this is just a full-size Zip 6, so this will be a couple shots real quick. Okay, off the left side, so just a little bit of wind we have here. I already need 6/10 of wind at this distance. Okay, 550. No problem for this, but you can hear the sound on that compared to what the 6 arc is. Okay. All right, so now I got the 6 arc. This is just factory Hornady 108 ELDM. The biggest thing I've noticed so far is that the advertised BC is actually a little bit lower. I don't know if that's because of the speed it's running out of a shorter barrel. But we've had to shave about 20 points off of the advertised G7. So still hits down there, but definitely takes a little bit of tweaking to make it work. You'll see the difference here. The slower velocity starting, the 5.56 performs better as far as drop goes. Once we hit a certain point, though, it's a huge spread of mils worth of elevation. So 550 on this setup, we are 3.7 mils. Calling for 6/10 with the wind we just shot, and in a 10-mile-an-hour it would be 1.2. Get the Garmin running just for some more sampling here. All right, so this is where you're going to see a big recoil difference versus 5.56. Doesn't really have much, but you're also going to get way more energy on target. So there I held basically no wind, but it hit on the left. Okay. Zero issue there. Wiggles that full-size IPSC. Fairly decent for being out of a small frame AR. All right, now we're going to 650. Calling for 5 mils, 2.1 right, and a 10-mile-an-hour wind. All right, I'm gonna go for this middle IPSC. We're gonna start with 8. One. Okay, see if we can hit this little one. 1 mil. Just off left. Off right. Off right. Okay, we'll give up on that one. That guy's real small. So now we're going to 650. 650 with this is 4.9 mils. It's calling for 7/10 of wind in this wind and 1.5 in a 10-mile-an-hour wind. All right, same target as the 5.56, just so you can see the energy difference. That's recording, thank God. That was gonna piss me off. All right, we're gonna go small, that middle IPSC, and then we'll try the small one. We go 6/10. Okay, there we go. Really no issue there, and that plate definitely swings harder. 6/10 on the little guy. I'm gonna go 7. Got it. 7. Got it. 7. All right, just off the right. No big deal. So now we're gonna go to 800. 800 with this is 7.6 up. And in a 10-mile-an-hour wind would be 2.8. 5 mile an hour here, I'm gonna do that. That's gonna give us probably 1.4 is about what I'm gonna use. That's what we are currently shooting at. Okay. So I got a white diamond down there. We're gonna shoot 1.4. Ooh, way off the up. Held the wrong one there. There we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, so 800 yards, you can see how it hits that plate and how much wind it takes. When that wind raises and lowers speed, it makes a huge change that bullet downrange. And that's another spot where that 6-arc really performs better. So out to 800, we are 7.2. And it's calling for 1 mil right. In a 10-mile-an-hour wind, it would be 2 mils right. Okay. That diamond, 1 mil right. Okay, a little too much. Let's go 7. Oh, too high, okay. So we're gonna go 7 mils. It's going up over the top of it. Let's go 9. 9. Oh, just right. Okay. Okay, 1,000 yards with this. We're 12.4 mils of elevation. And it's calling for 2 mils right in the wind we're shooting at right now. In a 10-mile-an-hour wind, it would be 4 mils. So 12.4. We're going this IPSC at 1,000 here. 2 mils.
collarbone hit.
Try that little circle, 1/8 of wind. Oh, just off the left. All right. So 1,000 yards, it's doable. I really can't see much at the plate at this distance unless it hits just the right spot in the berm. On to 1,000 now. This is the 800 to 1,000 is going to be the biggest split between the ARC and the 5.56. The 77 Match King just doesn't have the BC to maintain that velocity and energy down that far. This is where the ARC's really going to come away from that gun. So we are 10.8 mils. If you remember, the 5.56 was 12.4, so 1.5 mil-ish better. A significant difference. Also, we're only 2.7 mils right in a 10-mile-an-hour wind. All right, 1,000 yards. A little extra bipod height here. Okay. We got a full-size dipstick there. It's calling for 1.4. You good at 1,000, Duncan? Yeah. Okay. Way weird right. I wonder if I nicked him. Let's do 1 mil. Oh, just over the shoulder. 8. Oh, just over the top. Hopefully you guys can hear it in the mics. It's probably going to be pretty quiet. Let's go for the little plate, just see what it does. Is that way high?
Dude, you've been way high the whole time.
I mean, that's a freaking 6/10 high. Wow. 10.2? There's no way it needs 10.2. I didn't have a good hold of that one. Got it. Got it. This is a 10-inch plate here also, by the way. So definitely huge difference in performance. I was a hater of the 6 ARC for a while, but after seeing everybody shoot it, the performance downrange, run the numbers, there's really no arguing with it. I threw this barrel in here because I was way too excited to wait for a ridgeline receiver set for this, so I threw it in here. I'm gonna have a hard time putting the 5.56 barrel back in this. So the biggest thing with the 6 ARC that I was worried about switching would be the additional recoil. The 5.56 has basically no recoil, especially in a rifle length gas system. I didn't want to trade off and make it basically unspottable, unseeable, so I'm like a boomer with a 300 Win Mag. Or you 308 people. But after shooting it in this platform, the recoil is completely manageable. The slower speed, I still can see everything downrange. I still can pick up trace. And I wanted to show that in the trigger cam positionally. I'm going to shoot this pig at 500 yards. And what I'm going to show is a couple shots, just easy shooting, just so you can see the recoil, just controlling the recoil. And then I'm going to do some fast follow-up shots, like mag dump type stuff on it. That way you can see how manageable the recoil is. Man, what did I say the other day? The trade-off for recoil with the 6 ARC far bypasses the ballistic performance that you would have in the 5.56. So if you're worried about, you know, a heavier bullet, more powder, recoiling more out of a lighter gun, the performance you get out of it is well worth the recoil cost. You don't get that much more recoil, and I want to show that here on this pig at 500 yards. Okay. That was dog shit. All right, let's do a real quick rapid fire here. Oh, I missed that last one. Okay, let's move over to the 5.56 Mark 12, 18-inch, same target, and see how it looks. That's fine. That's okay. All right, so here we have the 18-inch M16A4 or the Mark 12 Mod 1. The not as good looking one. Obviously not as well performing. We got this goofy broomstick up here that nobody likes. That's gonna hit this log. We're gonna make do with it. I think we're 3 mils for this one. And we'll go right like, oh God, I gotta look through this collis. And this is my video, so I'm gonna trash the fuck out of this collis. This thing honestly looks like a Bushnell or a Tasco bubble wrap blister pack scope. Okay, so let's see how this looks here.
You recording on turkey cam, you a-hole?
I am. God, it does not shake that plate at all. Okay. So, 18-inch, 5.56, 2770 with 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. Okay, there you go. We're gonna go over the range performance of the 6 ARC 5.56, and we're even gonna compare it to my old 308. What I did once I was done shooting, I started running some numbers on it, and it surprised me how close to 308 the performance of it is. Not necessarily the elevation, although that was really pretty close as well, but the wind performance. It tracked with a 175 grain out to 1,000 yards in a 10-mile-an-hour wind. We're also obviously going to compare it to the 5.56. I'm going to have a chart on here. It's going to be color coded. Basically green, best performance. Red is going to be the worst performance. So the 308 data I used was from previously when I shot 308. I shot 308 pretty heavy for about 2 years, built my first custom bolt gun in 308, and shot a ton of matches and practice sessions with it. I even used it for practice in the off season for years and years after, just to practice recoil management. Okay, so the 308 data from that gun, I pushed, it was a 24-inch barrel. I pushed 175 Match Kings out of it at 2720. That was kind of the best trade-off for performance I could find as far as BC for the 30 cal bullets at the time. Some guys would run 155s, but the BC just wasn't there to trade for the velocity. All right, so let's get into the ballistics of these. I tried to make like a simple chart, the relevant, pertinent information. The elevation is going to be different for all of these. I mentioned in the video, you can see the elevation difference in the video if you watch it. I put it up there in big red text so you can't miss it, even if you're a Reddit person that made their way to YouTube. We can turn the turret. Elevation's easy. Elevation is a fixed number. It's a known thing. What you can't do is wind. The wind is the unknown, so the more you can cheat it, the better off you are. The other thing people are concerned about is energy. Energy on plate and energy on your target. If you're hunting, killing, whatever you're doing with it, super important. The biggest argument in the past year or so that I've heard for the 5.56 against the 6 ARC is that you don't need the 6 ARC because now they have these NAS3 bimetal hybrid cases. If you know anything about ballistics though, the low BC the bullet doesn't hang on to the extra velocity. So at the muzzle you might get another 100, 150 feet per second, but it just isn't going to continue downrange. It's going to bleed off. It's not going to carry it. You'll see that here in these charts. The other thing to really notice is that even though the NAS3 had better velocity throughout, the wind call was still very, very, very similar, where the 6-arc and 308 just ran away from it. So let's take a look at those right now. Again, green is going to be your best, red is going to be your worst, yellow, orange in between. Okay, 550 yards. We have the 6-arc at 2550 feet per second, the 5.56 at 2770, the NAS3 5.56 at 2890. I know you're going to say it's 2950 out of your gun, 3000 out of this gun. 2890 was the average from probably 150 rounds that 10 people sent me on Instagram. So I just took the average of all theirs, averaged that. That's how I came up with 2890. Plus or minus 50 feet per second, you'll see the difference here. And then 308, again, 175 shooting 2720 feet per second with a 175 Sierra Match King. So first off, the G7BC, I included this in every one so that you could see as a reference point, good, better, best, worst, all that. The 108 ELDM, Hornady says is 268 G7. Next best up is 308. The 175 Match King is at 243. And then you have the 77 Sierra Match King. I did 187 from what I've seen. So 550 yards, you can see there. The 308 has the most velocity. It's a 24-inch barrel. I know it's not a fair comparison, whatever, but I wanted to give it the edge and actual data that I had. So 550 yards, we have 1,786 feet per second left with the 308. The 6-arc, next up, gives us 1712. The NAS3 case stuff, as you can see, is already bleeding velocity. It started out 340 feet per second faster than the 6-arc at the muzzle, and it's already below it. So it's below it at 1611 feet per second. The standard 5.56, that's 2730, 1524. So again, you can see at 500 yards, the BC of that bullet has already narrowed that gap up so much between the two 5.56 cartridges that the NAS3 stuff at distance just doesn't help out enough. Remaining energy, 308, obviously you have a big heavy 175 going fast, 1,240 foot-pounds of energy. The 6-arcs at 703. Again, the NAS3 versus the 5.56, 443 versus 397. So not a huge difference there. Wind call, this is assuming a 10 mile an hour wind. 10 mile an hour, 90-degree wind. The 308 and the 6-arc are 1.3. You're going to see this trend through the whole way out to 1,000. The 5.56 and the NAS3 5.56, 1.8 and 1.9. So a tenth better, nothing super significant. Way behind what the 6-arc and the 308 are. All right, so let's go out to 650 now. Same numbers, same bullets. Our velocity, 308 still in the lead at 1639. 6-arc is now at 1577, so they're catching up to each other. The 5.56 stuff, 1425 for the NAS3 and 1350 for the standard 5.56. So all of them kind of are starting to close up the gap. They're getting a little closer, a little closer. Energy-wise, no surprise. Big, heavy, fast 308, holding on to that velocity. It's 1,044 foot-pounds. The 6-arc is 597 now. The NAS3 and the standard 5.56 are down below 350. The NAS3 is at 347 and the 5.56 is at 311. So almost half the energy of the 6-arc at 650 yards for the 5.56. 10 mile an hour wind. The NAS3 starting to pull away from the 77 standard stuff at 2.2. The standard 77's at 2.4 mils. And the 308 and the 6-arc hanging together at 1.6. Okay, out to 800. 308 with the energy, again, still in the lead, 1439. 6-arc, it's hanging on to it. The high BC of that bullet as we go out is helping out. It's hanging on to that velocity. It's more efficient. It's not bleeding it off as fast. The 308 is 1439 and the 6-arc is 1384. They're getting close. The NAS3 5.56 and the standard 5.56, they're both below 1200 now, 1199 and 1146. A tiny bit. I mean, probably the extreme spread of the load of any of these cartridges. They're about that apart now. Energy, same thing, same stack the whole way through. 308 now is below 1,000 at 805. The 6 arcs, 459 still, and the two 5.56s are below 300 foot-pounds. The NAS3 is at 245, and the standard is at 224. Wind call, again, this is 800 yards, 10 mile per hour wind, 90 degrees. The standard 5.56, 3.2 mils worth of wind with the 77 grain with that remaining velocity. The NAS3 is only a little bit better, 0.2 better at 3 mils. And the 6 arc again with the 308 running right there with it at 2.1. 1,000 yards, everyone's kind of their measuring stick. How much better is one versus the other? Here's where the massive split is between all of them. So the 308 is at 1220 now. The 6 arc is at 1148. The 5.56, it's at 1,014 for the NAS3, 986 for your standard 18-inch rifle length 5.56. Now the energy, same way, the 308 hasn't lost. It hasn't given up any ground here. It is at 578 now. The 6 arc is at 316. The 5.56 guns are under 200 foot-pounds of energy. The NAS3 is 175. The standard 5.56 is 166. For comparison, if you go back, you don't have to go back. I'm going to tell you. The 6 arc at 1,000 yards has the same energy as a 5.56 does at 650. The 5.56 at 650 was 311 foot-pounds. The 6 arc at 1,000 is 316 foot-pounds. Again, 10 mile an hour wind, right? This is going to be your delineation between all of them. The 308 here has finally gained some ground on the 6 arc. 2.8 mils worth of wind. The 6 arc is 2.9 mils worth of wind, and the 5.56 guns are 4.1 for the NAS3, 4.3 for the standard 5.56. That is 2 mils at 1,000 yards is a massive, massive, massive target. That is a massive spread to miss a target by. If you're looking at wind performance and how likely you are to hit the target, there's no arguing what the 6 arc does for you over the 5.56. Now you could say, oh, it's just a 308, right? A light hitting 308. But you don't have the recoil the 308 has. You don't have the large frame gas setup. You don't have the whole cost if you have multiple rifles. You drop a barrel, a bolt in your bolt carrier that came with the gun, and some $15 Duramags, and you have a 308 performing small frame AR. The other option you have is doing this into a bolt gun. A 6 arc in a bolt gun gives you $1.20 per round or $1.30 per round factory ammo. And if you shoot competition, you basically get 6mm BR performance, which is crazy. Again, I wanted to hate the 6 arc. I wanted to call it, you know, the new fad gun, the new 6.5 Creed, whatever you want to say. I didn't want to like it. I didn't want to think it was applicable. But there's just no drawbacks to it. The only drawback I've seen or heard, your bolt might break at 5,000 rounds, 4,000 rounds. By that time, you're going to replace your barrel. You're going to get a new bolt anyway. It's minimal cost, and it's just so well worth it for the performance. All right, so first thing at 100 yards, just zeroing. The trigger cam changed the zero just a little bit, so I always like to check it before I do any shooting with it on video. You could see the group there. The factory ammo, this Hornady 108 ELDM stuff, out of this Noveske DDF barrel, and out of any of the 6 arc barrels I've seen, shoots phenomenally. On that video, besides 2 or 3 flyers, which if you buy factory ammo, you get mixed lots, you get all kinds of stuff. You will get varying performance. You will see flyers like that. But the majority of the group was within, on my reticle, 0.2 mil. 1/10 of a mil at 100 yards is 0.36 inches. So that group was somewhere between 600 thousandths and 700 thousandths of an inch. You could hear my voice there. I was so surprised at how this thing shot for it being factory ammo in a gas gun, just shooting prone off the bipod. All right, 550 went straight there after zeroing. 6 arc, 5.56, zero issue, but it was a full-size IPSC. I held both with no wind to start because I wanted to demonstrate the difference with a zero wind hold, what the 5.56 and the 6 arc actually is practically downrange. You can hold your wind once you figure it out. You can dial it, whatever you want to do. but that initial call, smaller it is, the more likely you are to hit. So you saw how much the 5.56 took. It was actually off the plate, where the 6 arc was on the edge of the plate, even holding 0 wind. It was less affected by the wind significantly than the 5.56. Same thing out to 650. Neither of these guns have a problem with it, although the 6 arc was able to stay on that little plate just a little bit better, more consistently than the 5.56. 5.56 was just left, just right of it. Little change in the wind are going to affect that little 77 grain bullet way more than the 108. Okay, then both of these out to 800, the 5.56 and the 6 arc. The biggest difference starting here or past that like 650, 700 yard mark, on top of the energy on plate, is I think when you miss, what you see downrange on the berm. So I talked about at the very beginning of the video, I think this was the best demonstration of it until you see 1,000. But you could see when I missed off the plate with both guns how much more splash the 6 arc gave you. If it wasn't a perfectly clean dirt berm, maybe there's some vegetation, something like that, sticks, mud, whatever, you would have way more feedback from the 6 mil bullet. Once I got the wind figured out with both, not really an issue. The 6 arc though, again, way more impact energy on plate. Took both here out to 1,000, shooting at a full-size IPSC and then also a 1 MOA plate. This is another demonstration of consistency with this better bullet at range. Also that energy on and off target when you miss. You're going to miss because of wind. The more opportunity you have to read it, the better. So the 5.56, I only hit 2 or 3 times on that full-size IPSC, which again, for 5.56 is really asking a lot. But when I missed, I had no clue where I was missing. I spotted the 2 or 3, marked them with the green dots on the IPSC because they were still very faint even through the spotter. 6 arc, totally different story. I missed, I was too strong on the wind hold, it went off the right side. Lightened it up a little bit, still went off the right side, but I could see every miss that I made with 6 arc shooting around that full-size IPSC. Once I was on that IPSC, same thing, except it just didn't have enough power energy there to really shake it or wiggle it. I didn't know that I was hitting it in the head, but you can see hitting it in the head's only I think 8 inches or 10 inches wide on that plate. So you can see how little those up and down wind speed changes affected that bullet. They were all on that plate and really probably within the group size of that gun. You're not shooting a perfect laser beam onto your target. So I didn't know that it was actually 6/10 high until I moved to the 1 MOA plate. That first shot on the 1 MOA plate was directly in line over the top of it. You see me make a kind of Kentucky windage holdover to it, just bracketing with the left and right and the vertical steady on the reticle. Take a shot, confirm, and I dial that 6/10 difference, and then just repeatedly make hits on that plate. It honestly surprised the hell out of me. Number one, how well I could see it, how well I could see the misses, and how consistent it actually hit that plate. Just kind of going back to mentally where I was with 308, shooting that in a bolt gun. I don't know if it's the recoil, the speed of this, or what it is, but just seeing downrange, watching what's happening with this compared to the 308 was massive for being able to make wing calls. I shot, again, a ton of 308, and I just always remember issues, spotting trace, spotting impacts, anything like that, and making corrections, just because of that extra recoil the 308 has. Since we're talking about recoil, nobody cares what it's like when you're prone. It's all manageable, it's all easy, but what we do want to compare is how it is when you're off your belly. You're not going to shoot prone, especially with a gas gun, most of the time. Most of the time it's going to be positionally, it's going to be, sitting, standing, kneeling, anything but prone. So I wanted to demo that. 108 grain bullet with more powder is going to be more recoil. No surprise there. The 5.56 compared to this, virtually recoilless. You can shoot the 5.56. You can damn near actually mag dump. The 6 arc was a little worse than I thought it was going to be. I shouldn't say worse than I thought it was going to be. I couldn't mag dump as fast as I thought I was going to be able to, like I could with the 5.56. The 5.56 didn't take me off target hardly at all, and I was able to instantly follow up as soon as I reset the trigger. The 6 arc, I had 1 mil to 2 mils worth of vertical elevation besides the one shot that I kind of wasn't ready for or wasn't holding on to or controlling as well as I should have been. But still, as fast as you would need to follow up shots and for the trade-off of the performance downrange, the 6-arc is so worth it. All right, well, hopefully you guys liked the video. The 6-arc has blown my expectation for performance out of the water. I really didn't realize how good it was for what you get and what it costs to do if you already have a small frame gun until shooting for this video, until doing the ballistics, comparing it to a 308. It just blows my mind that you get full-size bolt-action 308 performance from a small frame gas gun that you can mag dump, rapid fire, and have match ammo for $1.34. If you made it this far, appreciate you guys watching. All the comments, even if they're argumentative, hateful, whatever, they help us out. Your guys' interaction, sharing stuff, commenting, all that stuff really keeps us motivated and going on the channel. We don't have sponsors for this. Nobody's paying us. Nobody's sending us stuff to do stuff with. If they are, like in the Arkin video, we'll tell you, but it doesn't change our opinion on any of this stuff. The reason we take time to do this is to attempt to educate you or inspire you to just go out and test your stuff yourself. Go out and shoot. Form your own opinions. Don't even take my opinion, Alan's opinion, whatever you're seeing on the internet. Go do it yourself. Go shoot your guns at distance, your guns however it's applicable to you, and make your own opinion. I'm not even going to ask you guys to like, subscribe, comment, share it, all that stuff. You can if you want. I guess that's it.